This story begins in the year 1850, where a writer named Herman Melville visits a man named Thomas Nickerson around 30 years ago. In 1820, a whaling ship named Essex sank in the ocean. After the shipwreck, the surviving crew went through unimaginable struggles, and now Thomas is the only one still alive from that time. Herman wants to hear the complete story from Thomas so he can write a book about it. Initially, Thomas refuses to share anything, but his wife convinces him by reminding him that they need money, and Herman is willing to pay for the story. Reluctantly, Thomas begins to narrate the harrowing events of his past, taking us back to a flashback set in 1820. We are shown a bustling harbor filled with large ships. At this time, whale oil is in huge demand. It fuels lamps and is considered highly valuable. One of the major companies in the business summons a sailor named Owen Chase, tell him that their biggest ship, the Essex, is being sent out again, and they want him to join as the first mate. Owen is not happy with this. After the last journey, he was promised a captaincy for the next one. Instead, he is offered the second-in-command role. The owners explain that the ship's captain this time will be George Pollard, the son of one of the company's wealthy partners. Though frustrated, Owen agrees after getting it in writing that he'll be made captain on the next voyage. Preparations for the journey begin. Among the crew is a 14-year-old orphan boy. Thomas Nickerson, the same man telling this story in the present day. Thomas joins the voyage along with a friend. Soon, the Essex sets sail into the ocean. While lowering the sails, one gets stuck. Owen bravely climbs up and cuts it loose with a knife, showing his skill and courage. It becomes clear to everyone that Owen is more capable than Captain George, who lacks experience and seems insecure. About Owen's popularity and competence, the next day they reach the deep sea. Owen, noticing signs of an incoming storm, orders the sails to be lowered to avoid danger. But Captain George, wanting to assert authority and speed up the journey, overrules him and commands all sails to be opened. Owen warns him again, but George insists they're already behind schedule. The ship rushes into the storm and suffers severe damage. Owen had been right, and George's poor decision nearly gets the crew killed. After the storm calms down, George confronts Owen and demands he sign a letter admitting he disobeyed orders and endangered the crew. Owen is shocked, tells George that it was his decision to open the sails. But George arrogantly claims he was merely testing his crew in the storm and calls Owen ungrateful. He's even insulting his background by saying, "You're just a farmer's son. Don't forget my family's legacy in whaling, being a ship captain." In those days was a prestigious status one George took great pride in. Owen refuses to return home empty-handed. Doing so would mean no pay for the entire crew. He reasons with George, returning without any whale oil would ruin the family name. He convinces George to continue the hunt and fulfill the purpose of their journey. George reluctantly agrees, and they sail deeper into the ocean. 3 months pass at sea. Eventually, they spot a pod of whales. The crew splits into 3 smaller boats to hunt them. They successfully harpoon one whale and drag it back to the main ship. The whale is hauled aboard, and they begin the process of extracting the valuable oil from its body. ... Would you like me to continue translating the next part? Or turn this into a YouTube script or description? Here is the English translation of the next part of your story. The crew begins to extract oil from the whale. But even after processing, a lot of oil remains inside. However, the hole they made in the whale is too small to retrieve more. Since Thomas, the 14-year-old boy, the one narrating this story in the present, is the smallest on board, he is the one sent into the whale to collect the remaining oil. Greater than asterisk? Quick break in the video. A reminder to the viewers that 99% of them watch the videos but don't subscribe or like. The narrator requests everyone to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Asterisk, after this whale hunt. They don't encounter another whale for several months. It's been almost a year at sea, and now they're very far from home. Their food and water supplies are running dangerously low. Meanwhile, the tension between Owen and Captain George continues to grow, needing fresh supplies. They dock their ship near an island and row ashore in small boats. There, they trade some of their whale oil. On the island, they meet a former whaling captain, a man who once did the same job as them but now has lost one of his hands. Owen and George ask him where they might find whales. The man shares that years ago, when he still captained a ship, he once found a place 2,000 miles west of there that had so many whales. They were able to collect 3,000 barrels of oil in one day, a massive amount, considering their current journey's target is only 2,000 barrels. But the man warns them. We were doing well until a giant white whale showed up. It was over 100 feet long. That demon of the sea destroyed our entire ship in one attack. I lost 6 crew members on my hand. Despite the warning, Owen and George don't believe him, greedy for oil and determined to meet their target. They set sail westward, eventually. They reach the location described by the former captain and, just like he said, there's a large group of whales. The crew is excited, knowing they could finally collect enough oil to return home. They once again split into small boats and begin the whale hunt. But suddenly, the same white whale appears, enormous and terrifying. In seconds, it destroys several boats and then attacks their main ship, which begins leaking heavily from below. Still, Owen attempts to kill the beast. He sharpens a harpoon and throws it directly into the whale, landing a perfect hit. But the harpoon is tied to a rope, and the massive whale dives deep into the ocean, pulling the rope to its full length. The rope is tied to a main mast pole, which quickly snaps under the pressure, Their entire ship is now damaged and begins sinking rapidly. The harpoon eventually dislodges from the whale's body. The entire crew jumps into their small boats. The Essex completely sinks beneath the waves. Now they're adrift, at sea, with no idea where they will end up. Once again, misfortune strikes. A powerful storm arrives. One of their crew members gets badly injured. They drift in the ocean for 34 days. By now, most of their food and water is gone. Just as things seem hopeless, they spot an island. Overjoyed, they steer there. Rafts toward it, But suddenly, the white whale attacks again, flipping over all their boats. Somehow, they make it to the shore. Once there, they decide to keep a fire burning day and night, hoping that a passing ship might see the smoke and come to rescue them. While exploring for food, Owen discovers a cave. He calls everyone over. Inside, they find human remains, clearly. Others before them were stranded here too and died waiting for help. They now realize that this part of the ocean is so remote that no ships pass through With no choice left, they begin repairing their broken boats in hopes of setting out once again. Some members of the crew refuse to leave, including one of Owen's close friends. Owen promises, "If I make it back home, I'll send help for you." The rest of the men depart on repaired boats. But their journey is far from over. Soon one of their companions dies. According to maritime law, the body must be buried at sea. But Robin, one of the crew, refuses to do so. Let me know if you'd like me to continue the next section, summarize the full movie, or turn this into a YouTube script or description. Here is the English translation, the final part of the story. They all knew their dead crewmate. Could keep them alive he had become their only food source. With nothing left to eat, they are forced to resort to cannibalism. Horrifying the 14-year-old Thomas, the present-day narrator. But even after that, their problems are far from over. They have no idea how long their journey at sea will continue. Eventually, they reach 71 days adrift. Now they play a deadly game. Whoever loses must sacrifice themselves to feed the others in this grim game. Captain George loses He is told that his cousin must now kill him, but instead of doing so, the cousin shoots himself. The proud George, who once boasted about his lineage and his role as a captain, has now been humbled by fate. They continued to drift for several more days. One day, the same massive white whale that destroyed their ship returns and swims directly toward their boat. Owen picks up his harpoon to attack, but as the whale passes, he notices the scar from the last time he wounded it. Looking into its eyes, Owen hesitates and decides not to attack. The whale quietly swims away and is never seen again. After some more time at sea, Captain George and Owen's boats get separated Eventually, a passing ship spots George's boat through a telescope and rescues them. Meanwhile, Owen and Thomas continue to drift with no food or water. Just as they are about to lose all hope, they see birds flying in the sky a sign of land. Looking ahead, they spot an island. With newfound energy, they row toward it and are rescued shortly after. 3 months later, on June 11, 1821, they finally return home. Owen's wife, who had long given him up for dead, is overwhelmed with joy to see him alive. George, who had left while his wife was pregnant, sees his daughter for the first time. She's already grown. After returning, the company that sent Owen and George on the voyage calls them in. Many men died on the journey, and now there will be an official inquiry. The company's owners ask them to lie, to protect the company's reputation among investors and insurance agencies. They even offer Owen money, to go along with the false narrative. But he refuses, saying, "I will not obey you." Any more? He resigns from his position. During the inquiry, Captain George testifies truthfully, admitting that it was the giant white whale that sank their ship. Though his father is one of the company's owners, George has changed. He faced death and came back a different man. The story now returns to the present, where Thomas, the 14-year-old survivor, finishes recounting his tale to the writer Herman Melville. Thomas reveals that Captain George went to sea again, obsessed with hunting the white whale, but he never found it, and was eventually forced into retirement. As for Owen, kept his promise to send help for his friends stranded on the island. But by the time help arrived, his friend had died. However, 3 other survivors, were still alive barely and were rescued. Owen left the city with his family and became a merchant captain, sailing ships on his own terms from then on. Thomas asks Herman if he's going to write this story exactly as it is. Herman replies, "No. I'll write a fictional story inspired by it." But he adds, "I found something more valuable than just a story. Courage, must never give up in life. Those who keep fighting are the ones who survive and move forward." Herman leaves, and in 1 year, he finishes his book titled Moby Dick, which goes on to become one of the most famous novels in America. And with this powerful scene, the movie ends. Let me know if you'd like me to turn this full summary into a YouTube video script, SEO description, or subtitles.